Hello, everybody. How are you? I'm Joshua Roosh with Mixit Studios, and I'm here to break down a process of how I made a song entirely out of the sounds of a chair that was in my kitchen. So I'm gonna play you the result, and then we're gonna break it down step by step. Okay? You just take me on with you. 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 Okay, that was the result, and now I'm gonna show you how we did that with only sounds recorded from a chair. Okay, the first thing that I went with was the kick. Let's check that out. That was the sound, and pretty much that's me hitting the cushion. Okay, so here we go. The first thing that I did was just to make a cut, a low cut around the 40 hertz. Pretty much that's what I used this equalizer for. Like, you hear that? Pretty much that's what an equalizer does. Like, long story short. Then what I did was just to send it to a sample track that pretty much in Cubase it gives me the option here just to go and send it to a sampler, and the sample track is down here. Let me show you. So this is how this works. I drag the sound here to this little window. So from here I just clicked and dragged. That's it. That was pretty much it, what I did. And what that allows me to do is just, with my controller here, just play any sound, well, in any key, that sound that I just sampled. And I just chose a sound that I liked because they're kind of different. See, this is kind of high, this is kind of lower. So I just went with something in between. Okay, and I just fade it out a little bit, and to make it sound like that, to make it sound like popping, I exaggerated the equalization curve on the around 2K, 2.5K. Then, well, I had some problems, some frequency problems around 222, and I wanted to accentuate this around 70 hertz so you could have like a little bit more punch. I lower around 40 hertz. Why? Because it was giving me too much of a rumble, and I really didn't like the sound. That's one of the most important things. Always do what's right for the song. And here I did some more equalization around 65. I know it's kind of silly, but I lowered it. Actually, it should just, yeah, there we go. And around 400 again, I just lowered it because it was just sounding like a little iffy. And I did some more equalization on the high end. The compressor, I compressed this sound a lot, like a lot. If you see here, it's over compressed, but I liked the sound because it's getting rid of some of the spatial sound, and I wanted this kick to be especially like dry, so I went ahead and just compressed it. And if you hear this, see that I didn't like that, so I just put in an exciter and got down this crossover point, just not to affect so much of the high frequency range, and I introduced some saturation on that exciter, and the characteristic that I chose was tube, and I introduced 6 dB, And on this transient shaper, I used it to give it a little bit more of punch right at the beginning of the sound, which I liked a lot, to be honest. And I just lowered a little bit of the sustain, um, again, to get rid of that space sound that I recorded it in. That was for the kick. For the snare, I did pretty much the same thing. This is how the snare used to sound. See that? Like, oh my god, like, yeah, that sounded horrible. And I was like, what am I gonna do with this? So I just went ahead and put it on the sample. Again, it allowed me to do whatever I wanted with my controller. I did some fade out again on this audio, and other than that, I didn't do much on this side of things. Yeah, I don't. Oh well, I no, I didn't do much on the sample track itself. What I did do though was to put it to Neutron again. I just love this plugin. It just allows me to do like all my processing effects just like right there, and very quick for a project like this that it was like done in an afternoon. So I cut a lot of the lower frequency, and I went crazy with the compression. And don't get me wrong, whenever you're working with a mix, it's compression is just used to tame the dynamics of any sound that you are that is like too over the top and then too low. But if it's used too much, the characteristics of the sound are going to change, and you might not want that. But in this case, that's exactly what I wanted, because that snare just sounded awful. So what I did, I'm going to show you exactly step by step how did it affect the sound. Equalizer, compressor, and see, right now it's a minus 46. See how it changes. So it adds a little bit of a spatial sound to it, which I liked, to be honest, when I brought it up. And I introduced the exciter, and it gave it like that kind of grunchy kind of sound, like a snare type of sound, and I liked it a lot. And now with the transient shaper, I gave it just 0.3 of dB just at the initial one, and I got rid of a little bit of that resonance, and I liked it, so I just stopped messing with it. Once I like something, if I'm just trying to like finish a project quick, I just leave it like that, and if it works, it works. Like I don't like to overthink things a lot lately, because yeah, it just stops my productivity. One of the cool things is this percussion, this melodic percussion sound. And that one, I got it out just knocking on the wood. So pretty much what I did, I placed it through the Melodyne, and I just went ahead and put the pitch with the pitch tool. I just put it all the way like to the center, so it got a little bit more of that pitch sound, and then I put it on a sample track. So the same process. In here, what I did, moved a little bit of the pitch, just minus 9 cent, because it was a little bit not in the pitch that I needed. So I just moved that a little. And on this Neutron, what I did was, well, I did a low cut on the EQ on Cubase, a very, very prominent cut, around 279. On Neutron, I equalized it, got rid of some problems in the higher frequency range, did another low cut just because I'm crazy like that. I compressed it. I introduced the exciter. Oh no, for this one I didn't introduce the exciter. It's just there, doing nothing, pretty much. But I did use this transient shaper to get rid of a little bit of the initial banging on it, because I didn't like it like a lot. And the sustain of it, I placed it like way higher, so we could have a little bit more resonance of that tone, and I liked it. After that, I just went with the. After that, I just went. Sorry, I'm just talking over the sound. After that, I just went with the autotune and placed it on the key that I am, which is D minor, and then added some reverb. What reverb does is just manipulates the space in which the sound is behaving at. So here I just made it large, so it would have a little bit more of spatialness to it. I really needed a synth, because this was going into a direction where I was like, oh, okay, this really needs a synth for this type of song that I have on my head. And this is how it sounds. And people were like, okay, Josh, but you're cheating. You were supposed only to use the sounds from a chair. I did something very, very cool, which is I synthesize that same percussion, that same melodic percussion sound, transferred that same sound. Here it gives me the option to transfer it to Patch Shop 2. And that's exactly what I did. I just went ahead and did that. And on Patch Shop 2, it gives me the option to play with it. So this is how it sounds. Wait. Right? And how I managed to make it sound like that was, one, I moved the speed so it would match the speed of my track. Right? And the duration of it. I know it sounds awful, but when you get to a point where it's exactly what you need, I just stopped messing with it. Anyway, long story short, after I did that, I was like, okay, but it still needs like more stuff, because this is how it would sound. Let me see if I can turn this off. See? I was and this without this. I was like, no, that needs character. So I put in a little bit of spatialness to it with a reverb, some chorus to it, some equalization, and I made it into an arpeggiator, which means that I just, it's just gonna play, it's just gonna let the notes sound on certain rhythm divisions within the bar that I choose. So I chose to have like that layout. So that's pretty much what I did with that sound. And I was like, hell yeah, it sounds cool. And then I went ahead and I was like, okay, what am I going to do with that scratch? The little sound. I put it into a sampler. And then just manipulated it until I liked it. I did a fade in and a fade out to get rid of some of the initial sound from it, and the end of it, because I didn't like it a lot. The speed, I reduced it. I don't think I did anything with the pitch. No, I didn't do anything with the pitch, but I did put some reverb. I got rid of a lot of the high frequency range, so it will be a little bit mellow. And with the Neutron, I just equalized it and compressed it a lot. If you guys see that, like, it's super, super compressed. See that? So all the dynamics are super, super tame, like no dynamics for you. Let me see. And I had another scratch. Yeah, how cool is that? What I did was raise a little bit on the mid range on Neutron. Let's see what I did here. Again, more mid, because I'm just crazy like that. The compression, I did it around 44 to tame some of those dynamics. The exciter, I went crazy with it all the way up just because I loved how it sounded. This is how it sounded without. Well, it still has a reverb, but now with all this introduced to it, sounds so cool. And I gave it an automation curve for the volume just so it would have some dynamics going in, from very little to very loud. Hide automation just to, and I did that to change sections in the song. Wait, that's like super loud. Okay, and then the bass, I was like, god damn, I need a bass. So I went ahead and did the same thing that I did with this little synth, but for this case I took the kick sound and I transferred it into Pad Shop 2. What am I doing? Okay, here. And I chose this sound, the very first sound, because you can choose and move around and see which sound you want to pick. The speed here, I put it into 0, so it would sustain like all the way. See? The length 100%, the shape a little bit more curved, well, a lot more curved, so it would resonate better. At least that's what I thought it sounded like. The formant, I really wanted to leave it at 12 semitones because it sounded like a little distorted to me, and I like that characteristic for this song. I did some equalization in here, and that was pretty much it. That was pretty much it for the bass. And for the riser was the sound that I went and scratched the wood. I love that sound. I went ahead and did a fade in, a fade out. The speed, I reduced the speed a lot for this one. It's only at 30%, so it would last the exact amount I needed. So it would go in and just take the song away. You know, this is how the song starts. Also, we put some reverb on it, some the Ozone 8 imager, which allows me just to spread out those frequencies into the stereo field, which it was pretty cool. Let me show you. Here I have divided into these frequency ranges, and I just gave it like a lot on between the 2K and the 10K, as well after 10K and on the mid range as well. And I put a replica on it, which is a very cool delay that I use a lot. I just love it. This is my voice, and what I did to it was pretty straightforward. With you. It's pretty straightforward. I wanted to leave it like super bassy, super up close, super personal. I just put a de-esser, which takes care of my S's because sometimes they're super loud and I don't really like it. I put some auto-tune on it. Nothing too like shabby. It was just D minor, just a medium fast, so it's just a 27, and humanize it a lot. The neutron, I got rid of some frequencies there around the 250. I didn't do much on the equalizer, but I did compress it though. It's but it was very soft compression, if you guys see. With you. And it's just right in it, so that's cool. And I use the Neve. The Neve, I love the Neve. This is a preamp. Pretty much, Rupert Neve is an eminence on his field. He's amazing, and everything that his company does is just like mind blowing. And Universal Audio came in with this simulations of this gear. So thank you guys. This is an amazing addition to my arsenal. Here we go. The Scarlett Reverb. I have again Scarlett Reverb. Some reverberation for my voice, and for the backing vocals, what I did was I got rid of, I have an extra track there. Got rid of a lot of the bass, got rid of the S's, and put tons of reverb on it. So, long story short, this is how the song sounds. I'm just gonna show you again the results. Just take me on with you. 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 And everybody, that was it. That was it. It's a wrap. If you guys have questions, let me know. I will answer them. Leave them in the comments below. If you think that I did something wrong, please let me know. Whatever suggestions you have, we're here to listen. We love to work with all of you here at Mixit. I'm Joshua Rouge, and I hope you have an amazing day. Remember to like a lot, and subscribe to our channels, okay? Bye-bye.